Okay, technical fouls, I think whether we like it or not, they're a part of all sports. A lot of times we're not satisfied with the decisions made by the referees. You know, their job is not very easy, but what we have to watch out for is to not let the referees become the reason why we win or lose. We can't afford to give that excuse to our players. But at the same time, I think that a technical foul is a tool that every coach should use, and you should use them at the right times. I mean, there are times when you use it for certain reasons. One, of course, is to show your players that you support them, that maybe even though they're playing hard, things aren't going right and they get frustrated, sometimes they're going to quit, but you don't want them to quit, so maybe you use a foul in that situation to get their support. But you have to explain that to the players, and it has to be clear that they don't have this right, you know, to act the way you do. I think this is the coach's right. I think there are also times you have to take a technical foul for other reasons. For example, we all have a relationship with the referees, and this relationship is important. And we have to try and keep the lines of communication with them open all the time. But at the same time, the referees, in my eyes, and it's been the same everywhere I've been, there are referees just like there are coaches and players. There are great players, there are good players, there are average players, there are poor players. It's the same thing. There's great referees, there's good referees, there's average referees, there's poor referees. And still we got to make it work. So at times, when you're not satisfied with a referee, you have to choose your spots and let them know, because when you don't, a lot of times of course they think they're doing a good job. You can say, okay, I'll send them a video and, you know, talk to them after the game. That's fine and good. But I think every now and then a technical foul in the game leaves a much more lasting impression on a referee and everybody involved than maybe just after the game, you know, say, hey, what's this, what's that? The moment is already gone. That might be politically incorrect, but I think that it's something necessary for every coach. I also think that, you know, every coach has to be on his toes, and also at the same time, you know, you have to show to the referees, just like we have to show to our players, that, you know, hey, we're very interested in what's going on, and we expect you to be sharp and perform as well as you can. These are all things that, you know, different ways to look at it. But I think that this is not something that should be an every game occurrence or things like that. There are times when you don't need it at all. I mean, I've been involved with teams where I worked with a head coach where he had certain rules. He said any player who got a technical foul for any reason, he was taken out of the game, sat on the bench. Didn't matter if he was starting five, leading scorer, or whatever. He was put on the bench, and he didn't use him for the rest of the game. You know, and I understood it totally. And it was absolutely clear that the only one who was allowed to communicate with the referee was the coach. And it saved us a lot of headaches and a lot of problems. And that team was very successful, and it worked well for us. I don't want to call it strategy, but it was the way the bench was run. Only discussions were with the coach and the referee. And if they agreed and they communicated, fine. If they disagreed, technical foul every now and then. But I think it's a tool that you can use. The best way to say it is to use it, but don't abuse it. The majority of the problems you have are always generated in your team itself. Your team basically will always decide, your players will decide if you win or lose. This is the most important thing that I can say to you. Use the tool, but just don't abuse it. Pick your spots.